rappers. If I send the dressers, they gon' come in straight.
What it is, it's your boys Deuce, Teddy, and LaQuell reporting with the facts, opinions, and BS straight from the top of the key. What's good?
What's up, fellas?
You already know, you know what I'm saying? Had to connect with the old folks out here. We do. Happy Friday.
Friday, fellas.
Finally got
that merch.
Got the merch. You can see a little bit on the back. Me. You know. He over here getting his eagle on. Get back home. Look, we got some floaters out there. We got some people, you know what I'm saying? We put in those special orders. You know what I'm saying? Yours coming through, you know what I'm saying? Like Wayne said, sorry for the wait. You know what I'm saying? But let's go on and get this thing cracked. The Bucks fired the head coach Mike. Y'all take that as a surprise or what? Is that unwarranted? What's going on? Bucks been the top 3 seed the last 3-4 years. I was surprised by them firing him. But when you really think about it, it's not surprising at all. So it's like it is a surprise because, like you said, they've done well since he's arrived, won a championship. They're always one of the best teams in the league, not just in the East, but in the league. And they're always right there. Last year, they're right there, but you get Chris Middleton. This year, they're right there, but then you get Giannis. You know what I'm saying? Who sustains an injury. So it surprised me, but looking at the nature and how they lost this year, it doesn't really surprise me when you think about it.
There's no grace at all, I feel like. It happens sometimes. It ain't like that series could have been different if Giannis never would have got hurt. Not saying that they would have won it, but if the series would have been different, for them to take the coach out because of an injury that he had no control over, it ain't like it was a bust season. They had a dope season all year. They just had a bad playoff run, and you lose, you go home. And then the way that they lost, it was like, okay, y'all shouldn't have lost the game that y'all lost, and how y'all lost them in that fashion. But to fire the coach like that, the NBA ain't got no love.
Yeah, I can see, like you said, it's not surprising, but it is surprising. It's not surprising because as an owner, when I take a look at it, we were the number 1 team. We have the best player in the league. We were winning by 10 plus in 2 of the last games. And we let Jimmy Butler beat us with a team that has no 7-footer.
What they do
with no Tyler Hero.
I mean,
so when I look
sometimes.
but if I'm the owner and I'm looking at where's the change going to come from? Because we got to figure out where we have to improve them next year. We have a great roster. We were up by 10.
Yeah, your roster wasn't healthy all year. It just sucks that you let one series get rid of a coach though. One series, you just gonna get rid of him.
That's the nature of the beast, and some coaches have longer leashes than others. But even with Giannis going out, I still feel like the Bucks had a better team. They had more depth on their team. You pretty much allowed.
That's a coach problem because he
just Jimmy Butler. But that's what we got to get at. Does the coach really make the final decision on who they're going to play and who they're not going to play? Do you think that rests 100% with a coach like Mike Budenholzer? Because there's people on their roster who didn't play. Why did you get Jay Crowder? Just to make sure no other contender got him and you didn't play him? Does Mike Budenholzer say, I'm not going to play Jay Crowder, and the organization says, okay? Or is that an organizational decision? I feel like, hey, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
That's something we've been.
But also, if I'm the organization and you've been here, Mike, it's the second series you lost against the Heat and Jimmy Butler. You lost in the bubble where they exposed us and taught every team how to build a wall. wall against us. And then you just lost again when we were the number one team.
But he also won us a championship.
He did.
He
So
did.
it's not like he did nothing. It's not like he did.
And he did.
He led us to the best record.
But
led us to a
that's microwave. That's the Instagram. That's the TikTok. That's the 11, 12, 15-second era we live in.
Is that short?
That's
but
crazy.
But also think about it.
This ain't the Spurs, bro.
Do you blame the coach because Bobby Portis out there and he doesn't produce? Do you blame the coach because of that? Do you blame the coach because Drew Holiday and company can't get stops? Do you blame the coach for that?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the coach not out there playing. He's playing people other than putting Jay Crowder out there and maybe you put Joe Ingles in instead. I'm pretty sure if the organization really felt like that was a bad decision after one game of seeing that, they would have said, hey, you need to put him in the game. And it would have been done. Yeah. So, but like you said, they did lose to the Heat. They had every opportunity to win. And they didn't. So
the nature of the game sometimes.
It is.
To get rid of a coach that did so much for the organization, that's wild.
I just be sitting there looking like
it's crazy how you get the best record in the league and then you get fired.
I be trying to wonder when the damn Warriors.
It's like them firing Mike.
But yeah, I'm about to say it's like them firing Mike. No, but you got to think they fired the Toronto coach when he had the best record in the league and lost to LeBron.
Dwayne
Casey, get him up out of here.
I just be thinking like we had ample opportunity to fire Steve Kerr, and we ain't did it yet.
But I think certain coaches and certain they not firing Pop, even when next year gonna be a rebuilding year as well. Even when a year after that gonna be a rebuilding year.
Yeah, they not firing Eric.
Unless they get Wembanyama, he got at least 2 or 3 more rebuilding years. Pop ain't coaching Western Conference Finals teams no more. He ain't getting fired.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's crazy. Like
Eric Spoelstra, even if Eric Spoelstra wasn't competing for a title, I don't think he would get fired.
Yeah.
There are certain coaches who in the organization that they're with.
The Warriors got a long Steve Kerr because he could have got fired that year.
He got fired this year.
He could have got fired.
Listen, don't be so. I mean, I think we go into the finals. But if we don't make it to the finals, or we go out in some weird fashion, we get beat by 20 the last 3 games, Steve Kerr is going to get fired.
I don't think so. I think that man there to stay. This was not making sense. Why would he get to keep his job and then the Bucks coach get rid of him? It don't make sense to me, but everything.
I guess the multiple championships still having his name on it puts him in
because they don't have just one championship. He got 4.
Yeah, that's the same with Pop. Like all y'all, most of y'all banners in here came from me.
Even with Pop though, that's years ago.
But Steve Kerr has 4, and he's the current.
The last one was last year.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Is recent.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the difference between him and Budenholzer. Pop is a different story. Pop ran over 3 fucking decades.
Yeah.
Pop spent over 3
Pop had to play against Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah. But I'm saying that's still years ago. That's 20 years ago.
But because he got 3 decades of playing and he got multiple championships across different eras of the Spurs,
why not?
Hold on. They also understand Pop doesn't have a team. So they're not looking like you're to blame. They understand like we've been in rebuilding mode since Kawhi left. And we thought we had something with DeMar DeRozan, and that lasted. But that lasted as long as the idea of bringing him to the team because LaMarcus Aldridge couldn't stay healthy or didn't want to be here or was unhappy. So
after DeJounte,
he had the time. Mike ain't get the time. How long was Mike with the Bucks?
5.
He ain't get the time.
He got 5 years, 5 good years. So
and he been in the playoffs every year.
That's what I'm saying. He had 5 good years, but he doesn't have that longevity with that organization where they feel like family.
But it might be Giannis. It might be the owner and Giannis' greatness playing a certain part. We're in a moment where the last 5 years, Giannis has been arguably the best player in the NBA. So with that, how do we maximize our opportunity when we put the money behind this team? We put the team behind this team. We got the depth. We got the player. We got the guy. But we seem to be coming up short, getting put out in the first round, not coming over the hump, getting put out by small teams.
Well, this is the first time they're going out in the first round like this. This is the first time with Mike.
But I'm talking about but
I don't see I just
Giannis gonna be 1 year older next year.
Yeah,
we got to maximize Giannis as much as we can.
We see players
over the last 4 or 5 years.
He's been players like Steph. We see players like
the best Giannis he can
be. PJ Tucker, that's 100 years old and still playing on the elite level. So
did you say PJ Tucker on the elite level?
I mean, he an NBA starter or whatever.
Bro,
talking about playing in the NBA.
So we talking on a playoff team with a starting. The point is, we don't know how players can play for a long time. We've seen it being done now. So,
but hold on,
that's not.
When we talk about the NBA, it already goes without being said they are on an elite level. But when we're talking solely about the NBA and comparing NBA player versus NBA player, you cannot mention PJ Tucker and say
that's still a 40-something-year-old dude that's playing in the NBA with these young cats who don't have to be their daddy. So Giannis played kind of like a LeBron did back in the day. He could probably go 20, 30 years if you take care of his body.
But peep this.
I'm just saying, it don't see no justification.
As a coach, to see your best player who's made tremendous improvements on shooting free throws, missed 13 free throws, then enter a point in the game where he didn't want the ball at the end of the game, which essentially cost you the game, and you don't make adjustments or even try to empower your player, try to comfort.
It happens to the best of them.
But when you got that first round exit, that right there was like the punctuation. That was you right. That was punctuation on why they let his ass go.
And there ain't no justification to me.
Yeah, but you seen that.
A good season that ended terrible. It's a good season that ended terribly terrible. They shouldn't have lost. I agree with that. Some people should get some slap on the wrist. Somebody should be.
But like I say, you have the better team. They got an old, and injured Kyle Lowry. You have no Tyler Hero. Duncan Robinson ain't a problem anymore because he don't get minutes. Bam Adebayo was shit. Other than that one game, he had 20 rebounds. Didn't do much of anything. Was just a mediocre role player. All you had was Jimmy Butler. And then on the other team, you still got, is he a superstar Chris Middleton? Right? You still got Drew Holiday. You still got Bobby Portis. You had an amazing production from Brook Lopez. How do you lose those games?
I'm saying, and not to mention, you were up by 10 plus going into the fourth quarter. In the last 2 games, you lost. Let's not just say, how do you lose those games? You were winning the games.
It happens. It's a good.
So when I look at that, you equate that to player management, coaching decisions, effort on both ends.
Hey, kind of like
players buying in.
Kind of like when players have bad games or have bad series or bad seasons, coaches can have bad games, bad series, bad seasons.
But I think at this point,
there's a difference.
When you look at,
there's a difference. A player won't get terminated from their contract; they'll get traded, right? But if you that level of a player, they're not really gonna trade you like that. So that's the difference. Where a coach, you ain't paying the coach as much money as you paying a player.
You can get. That's the thing with with watching so many Joe Mazzulla's and Mike Browns around the league. With this, when you still have Steve Kerr's, you still have the Pops, and you still have the Eric Spoelstra's, you have great coaches all around. You have great schemes all around. You got great defenses all around. You got a lot of great. When you got a Giannis, you don't match it. And you see that maybe my great team has reached its limit with this coach. We gonna need him like Brown now. We gonna need, because if Mike Brown can do that with this, what could Mike Brown have done with this? What could a Pop do with this? If he can keep making every Spurs game competitive with what he got right now, he'd be up by 20 by the end of these games. So I think that's what they looking at as well. Well, what if we would have snagged Joe Mazzulla or Ime Udoka? What if we would have got one of these players? I mean, with these player coaches, what if we would have got one of those?
It's just unfortunate that no matter how good of a coach you are, the players still got to perform and do what you tell them to do. They still got to go out there and be able to knock down the shots. They still got to be out there, go out there and be able to defend. They still got to be able to go out there and not get hurt. And when it happens and they don't knock the shots down, they don't defend, and they do get hurt, and your job is on the line because of it, it's terrible. Feel like they cut Buddy a little too short.
Sports.
So
We put enough time in, Mike. I hope Mike find a new job on a new team somewhere.
because I was gonna say, speaking of coach being let go, let's talk about when players are let go.
Dillon.
Yeah, Villain Dillon.
Worst name you can get, man.
Good riddance.
So you got it.
Yeah, he's talking about he's requesting to be signed with the Lakers. Do y'all feel like it's mutual interest in the Lakers? I ain't a Lakers fan. I'm like, hell nah. Nah. We don't need to see you over there. Yeah, he is a perimeter defender, and the Lakers could use that, but they don't need
It's
him.
different.
They
It's
don't need
different
him.
because
They don't need him.
I take Lance Stevenson, and he was an irritant to LeBron as well.
Mhm.
He was never disrespectful to LeBron.
Other than when he blew in his ear.
But even that, he never was like he old, he ain't gave me
Yeah.
he's slow. He
Hit him in
ain't
the
never
ball.
disrespect. It's like I can be competitive and we can make it a whole thing and for entertainment and we can raise the level of everything. But then once you go past a certain point, you know,
I mean,
Matt Barnes almost hit Kobe in the face. The next year he was on Kobe team because Kobe called him and said, "If you crazy enough to do that to me, then
no,
you
I
crazy enough to
think
play on the same team as me."
so. And the other thing with Lance Stevenson is Lance Stevenson will actually go out there and produce.
But even that, yeah, that too. So it's like when you talk a certain way, and then on the back end, your numbers are like, what do you average this year? He had like 14, 5, 14, like 4 and 2.
Yeah.
And you were telling us you can do more. You should have done more. They needed you to do more.
They had games without guys.
They're like, wait a minute. You could do more when Mikal Bridges, as a defender, you're the defender, you're the 3-and-D guy. Mikal Bridges was a 3-and-D guy. When Ja went down, when Booker went down, y'all numbers don't look the same.
No.
I rest my case.
But then you also seen when Mikal Bridges was really like, you seen the effects of his defense. You know, he was in the running for defensive player of the year. You know what I'm saying? Has Dillon Brooks ever been in that conversation? Nah.
Mikal Bridges don't talk. We talk about him. We talk about you because you talk.
Yeah, like the Dillon Brooks ain't out there doing nothing to Giannis or KD or Kawhi Leonard or, you know what I'm saying, people that's around his size. Like, yeah, you're bigger, so you can kind of like bully and hover over a smaller guy. Yeah, good job, but you ain't stopping Devin Booker. You know what I'm saying? You probably ain't stopping Donovan Mitchell, and he ain't even your size. Jalen Brunson probably bully you. So I look at that and I'm like, look, it makes sense when you think about the Lakers and their culture and their history. When they seen anybody that could just be an irritant to Kobe Bryant, what do? They went and got him next season. When you think about the Ron Artest, the Raja Bells, the Matt Barnes, like you said, they went and got them, the Trevor Arizas. They went and got them pretty much that next season. I don't think this is
Dillon
that.
Brooks ain't did nothing. He did that to LeBron.
This ain't that.
But look at everybody you
on
named. You named Ron Artest, great defender,
Deuces.
great 3-and-D,
Deuces.
was an MVP candidate before he got into a big brawl that we all know about. You tell who? Trevor Ariza. One of the Lakers championship might be equated to Trevor Ariza's defense.
Getting that steal.
And his 3-point shooting. Yeah. I'm talking about one of the whole championships might be equated to just him being a baller. Dillon, y'all haven't won anything. And you're not even good on a team that hasn't won anything.
You ain't been in the conversation for defensive player.
You got to remember that.
Nothing.
Like there are better players on worse teams than you.
Yeah.
I'll take Markkinen over you.
Yeah.
I'll take Clarkson over you. I'll take a lot of players over you. Your team might have been there, but in number 2, but there's a players on the 12th team that'll walk you all day long, bro. All day long. There's players that ain't in the playoffs that'll walk you.
But let's talk. So you name players who aren't necessarily defensive players. Let's think of some defensive players. Herbert Jones on New Orleans. I'm taking him over you.
Jared Vanderbilt.
Taking him over you. You know, you probably more on the level of
roster.
Michael Finley.
I'm taking Jeremy Grant over you. I'm taking, bro. We could go up and down. Who are the little bullies, the little point guard bully? I take Davion Mitchell over you.
Yeah.
Bro, he was knocking down his threes.
Yeah.
He had me. He every time he shot.
And then shot.
Yeah, bro. I'm taking a lot. It's a lot of players. Old ass Harrison Barnes. I'm putting on the roster before you.
Yeah. Not even a defender, but I'm gonna take Monk over you.
Aaron Gordon.
Yep. Jeff Green.
Producing.
Andrew Wiggins all day long.
Oh, you ain't have to bring him Andrew Wiggins.
They make their minutes.
Like, bro, all the defensive players. Marcus Smart. I'm taking all of the defenders before you.
Taking the OG Ananobis, the Scotty
OG
Barnes.
over you. Scotty.
Come on now.
Everyone produced, even if they're not just a defender, they're great defenders and they do other things. You're not a great defender. You don't do anything else.
Don't rebound.
In your head, you're a 3-and-D guy. You don't do that good.
You don't
do 3 good or D good.
And the crazy thing is the Grizzlies wanted him. They were offering him contract extensions all throughout the season, but he felt he was in a reduced role and he felt he was worth much more money. So maybe because they kept him in a reduced role, he knew that they wouldn't offer him more money because they didn't have any reason to offer him more money because he wasn't able to show what more he could do. But like you said, he had the Mikal Bridges opportunity, Ja Morant being out.
That might have been why he was talking. You think about it. All year long, y'all offer me a certain amount. I think I'm worth more, right? How do I show y'all I'm worth more? I'm going to go out here and make a name for myself. If they get through the Lakers and he has these games against LeBron where he told everybody he's slow, I'm going to lock him down. He ain't giving me 40. Now they got to pay him.
Yeah, but that ain't happening.
You got to take both sides of the coin.
Because he gave you 40 he gave you 40 in a variety of ways. 20 or 20.
But if he would have, but that's what I'm saying. If they would have won these,
if they would have won
going all this year, like y'all not giving me the contracts I want, I'm gonna show y'all like what I'm really worth. I'm gonna make a name. I'm gonna build this up. I'm gonna Dillon the villain. Yeah, he locked LeBron down. And in the next round, he went in. He was guarding Steph all series. In the next round, he put it on Booker or he put it on Jamal Murray. And then he got to the finals and he had to guard Tatum or Harden. Now, you gotta pay him a little different. You gotta respect him a little different.
But none of that happened.
Roasted like that.
Yep.
Under any circumstances.
None of it happened. And like I say, he had more than enough opportunity. You had a season with you had games where Ja Morant sat, Steven Adams was out, Brandon Clark was out,
Never went down in
Triple J was out. So you had all of these games, especially then you had Desmond Baines out. So you had a bunch of opportunities. A bunch of opportunities to actually go out there and be like a Mikal Bridges. But the little ugly ass one shot you got, that one-handed shot you got, and that whack ass defense that you claim is this 5-star, you weren't able to do anything. So hopefully you don't end up in that unemployment line. You know what I'm saying?
I don't see him going to any team though. But
Hey, Coyle, we talked about it last episode. What you think about him going to the Mavericks?
The Mavericks might need actually a Dillon Brooks.
That's what I said. That's
They
what
don't
I
have no guard. They don't have no wing defender for real.
for real. They don't have any wing defender.
Yeah, he might fit on the Mavs.
He don't want him though.
Mark Cuban ain't taking that mess. You don't want that job.
But you got to think, John Moran is kind of when your head of the snake talk like that, and y'all see that it's okay for the head to talk like that, the rest of them gonna follow. The biggest story this year on the Grizzlies wasn't Dillon Brooks talking to LeBron.
But
The
you
most
also got
distractions this year wasn't Dillon Brooks saying LeBron was slow.
But
John
Dillon,
Morant had a lot of things that went on this year. But
Yeah.
We ain't firing LeBron. We ain't firing Ja because your production matches
man.
what we'll tolerate.
yeah.
Our tolerance level was a little high because of your production. But when your production's a little low, our tolerance level was a little low.
A lot low.
But
A lot lower, yeah.
But also Dillon Brooks, you think about it, Dillon Brooks was talking way before this because remember the year after the Warriors lost KD, we let Andre Iguodala go, Sean Livingston retire all that year, right? When Andre Iguodala and Jay Crowder went to the Grizzlies and they were like, we don't want to be here. Dillon Brooks, what did he say? If you don't want to be here, we don't want you. Like that was his response to them. We don't want you. He's talking to Andre Iguodala, who was a franchise player on multiple teams. At the time, he had 3 championships. Like you're talking to him, and then a real 3-and-D player in Jay Crowder. You talking to real veterans that way. He's been doing that for a long time. He's never been shy of his words, and I actually respected him for that. And they went out there, and them young boys were balling, but back then they were actually balling, and that's when he was looking like he would be Ja's number 2. But it never happened.
And then they drafted this.
It never happened.
And you'll never be 2 again.
but I seen JJ Redick. He was in an uproar about how the media treating Dillon Brooks and this whole situation. So we're gonna leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna leave it alone for now. And we're gonna move on into the next thing, which you already know. It's about them guys. That's why he got that color on today. He liked them guys.
It was a terrible game. Shout out to the Golden State Warriors for doing what they do.
Who played the terrible game?
I said it was a terrible game, but
You got that. He's speaking from the opposition.
to the
Yeah, I'm about to say that was
no, you right. You
for
the
us.
fence. Quay, you the fence. You was Yaya Lakers. You was Yaya Lakers all the way into the play-ins and all of that.
But the Lakers going against our team.
Yeah, you on the fence.
No, he ain't on the fence. He riding with the Warriors.
After the Lakers made a trade, I said the product that the Lakers putting on the floor right now is dangerous. They gonna make the playoffs. They gonna be a scary team in the playoffs. That's all I was saying.
But at the end of the day, you were assessing the Lakers in the league. You weren't assessing the Lakers versus us. Because this is us versus them. But you said from the very beginning, we're going to beat the Lakers. You said
we're gonna beat the Lakers.
Don't let this guy. Don't let him play you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he just mad because they got their ass.
Hey, I'm a fence. I ain't on no fence. We up 40. We ain't on no fence. We was up 40 at one point in time.
We beat the dog shit out of them. So with it being such a difference between game 1 and 2, like what do y'all expect going into game 3 with it being in LA?
I actually expect us to win again.
Okay, I like that.
I don't think like the game that you got out of Anthony Davis in game 1, we know he's not going to do that for 7 games. In a 7-game series, if they go 7, he'll do it for 3 of the 7. Cool. We'll beat you the other 4. That's all. Like, that's simple. That's simple basketball. LeBron ain't getting it up like he used to get it up. Call a spade a spade. LeBron can't take over a game and give you a virtuoso game where he just dominates the game, where it's like, oh my God, I can't do nothing with this man.
We ain't seen LeBron get 30.
And if AD can't do nothing else,
like we said, when the Lakers is giving 2 and y'all giving 3, at the end of the day, the gap is just gonna get bigger and bigger.
But
LeBron set out the whole fourth quarter. He played half the third quarter. He had 21 in the first half, which is amazing for LeBron at that age and stuff. And then it was a close game the first quarter. That was it. And then the second quarter, y'all just pulled away because they was beating y'all by like 7 or 8. But when they hitting 2 and y'all coming down hitting 3, Clay was on fire the first half. I'm sitting there scratching my head like, how? Like, I know this Clay existed, but I thought Clay is a shell of himself. But he showed last night that Clay's still that guy. When LeBron making 2 and Clay making 3, LeBron make 3 shots, Clay make 3 shots. Them all 2s, them all 3s. That gap is going big. I'm like, man.
did you talk about how LeBron finished with 23?
Because he set out the whole fourth quarter.
But he played the third quarter.
He played about half, if that.
Still played the third quarter, motherfucker.
You know, they was down by 20 something by then.
Look, even with the game AD had
a terrible game.
No. In game 1, they still only won by 5. Still, and you look at the Lakers made 25 free throws that game. Well, we only made 6 or took 6. So I think the Lakers made 25, 26, and we took 6 and made 5. So that right there is a huge difference. Huge difference. And the prime reason we lose that game. Because we didn't even turn the ball over like that game. I think they beat us, like slightly beat us on the boards, but looking at that game, look at how we cracked that 12-point lead. We decreased that 12-point lead so fast, bro. So I'm looking at that like, even if you get another game like that from AD, all we got to do is shoot free throws, and we good.
All the rest of it gotta happen too.
It was close on free throws. You both made 10. Lakers shot 17.
You talking about last game?
Last game.
I'm talking about game 1.
Yeah, game 1, yeah.
No, I'm talking about
they just got it. I shot 50%
game 1.
We do that again.
But at the end of the
we
day,
know AD not doing that. Like, as talented as he is, he's not necessarily doing that.
But think about game 1. Even at that point, we still had the opportunity to tie the game with a 3-point shot. We just missed it.
Yeah.
So you almost had a game like that in a losing effort. So I'm not worried about it. And then with us making the adjustment that we made, putting JaMychal Green, because I'm like, JaMychal Green, I remember him on the Grizzlies, remember him on the Nuggets. I'm like, look, we can get production out of him. So us utilizing him and mixing it up and throwing a boomerang at them boys, it caught them off guard. And I'm like, keep doing it. Because you ain't going to be able to guard JaMychal Green like you was guarding Looney. But then also, Draymond Green looked like he did in the last series when he was attacking. Because game 1, he looked like Sabonis. He was just out there. He wouldn't shoot the ball. He wasn't in attack mode. Game 2, you stepped away, he shot the ball. And that's what he has to do.
Yep. I almost gave them boys a triple-double. I think he had 11, and 9. Hey, I'm trying to tell people that Swiss Army knife a little different than what y'all got. Y'all might have a player that's gonna get you 20 and 23, cool. But is he gonna do that every night? Because I know Draymond gonna be right there at 6'6", 6'7", 7'7" every night. AD gonna give you what he gave you tonight some of those nights. And you need him to go do a lot. We don't need Draymond to do nothing but 7'7".
Yeah.
When we get 7'7" out of Dre, we win.
Because we ain't even
don't get 30 and 23 out of AD. Y'all gonna be at home watching the playoffs with us.
But you also gotta understand, we haven't really had somebody that had a huge game like AD. We ain't had anybody, because when Clay got 30 points, he did good shooting, but he didn't really do nothing else that game. He had, I think, a block maybe and like 3 rebounds. And I think that's pretty much it for his stats, other than minutes. So he shot the ball well, but AD was defending well, rebounding well, shooting well. He was doing his thing. We ain't had that. So Steph Curry didn't go over like 30 points, but he had a double-double last game. But just think, when we have a player that's doing something like that, and Wiggins ain't really inserting himself like that this much this season. This series. So just wait. Just wait. But enough on that. Let's go ahead and talk about this Celtics
Boy got almost
76ers series. I feel like we needed to talk about that because I think it's been very much the opposite of what we expected. We thought that it was going to be a series once Embiid returned. But it's the very opposite of that. Once he returned, the series over with. They done lost every game with him returning.
Yep.
Why?
Listen, the way that they played tonight, watching them the first 7 minutes of basketball when the Celtics went up big and then they had to fight their way back in and kind of made it even by the end of the first quarter. I was in my head like, y'all are trying to force the ball to Joel Embiid. Like every play has to be him touching.
Yeah.
When I get it, but at the same time, y'all keep turning the ball over trying to get a ball to Joel Embiid because all they're playing defense on is they're not a ball from Joel Embiid. They got up 16 points off of fast breaks that were steals on passes to Joel or plays where they were just probing, waiting on him to get position. It's like y'all got to figure out how to did y'all forget how to play basketball all of a sudden?
Yeah. So
a lot of standing around and watching. When Embiid is on the floor, James Harden is not himself. He is not MVP Harden at all. He settles for bad shots
at all, bro.
He watches Embiid do his thing. You don't play good defense. You don't have no energy out there. You just get a paycheck and just go home. Let Maxey do all the running around extra stuff and let Embiid battle down low and do all this extra stuff. He just standing there watching.
So I would like to go a little bit underneath the surface because tonight I heard a very familiar phrase, something we haven't heard in a while, but it's familiar. They said they looked at James Harden's stats and said, James Harden don't even look like he want to shoot the ball. He wide open and he this many feet away from the basket and won't even shoot the ball. Don't that sound familiar? Who we hear them say that about?
Ben Simmons.
Exactly. And what team was he on at the time? And with who?
76ers.
And with who?
Joel.
Exactly. So, and Ben Simmons and James Harden is nowhere near the same type of player. Nowhere near the same type of player. Offensively, they can make plays. However, James Harden will let that thing ride as you've seen in game one. So when I hear that, I'm like, what if this is the player showing you something? When no Joel Embiid, I go out and do this. But when Joel Embiid come back, I don't even have the desire to do anything. What if it's them saying, I don't like the fact that you tell me everything got to go through Joel Embiid because you saw what I'm still capable of. So that's what I look at when I see that.
He on his way out the door. So why not give it all you got? This is contract year. He's going to be gone after this season anyway. If they don't offer him no crazy amount of money, James Harden going to be.
I think it's much deeper than what meets the surface.
I see that, but why not increase your stock though? If anything more.
You think people going to ignore that game James Harden had in the playoffs? No. Because everybody know the history of James Harden.
Not. But we'll never know why he playing like that either. We'll never know why. We'll never know. James don't even say nothing when he be leaving teams. He just be shaking.
Well, this is it. They ready to get it together, or he only got 3 games left, 2 games left. They're not winning, so.
Top of the key, you know what I'm saying? We out. You feel me? Ayy.
Ready? Hope you pack shit up with God, cause we gon' bless you. Let it burn, you gon' get it bad. These just my confession. They in traffic, can't get picked off like no shit and duck. Keep one in the tug. Wife be mad, but bet she still gon' fuck. Don't speak